the two individuals. We are joined now by Zvika Klein. He's editor-in-chief at Jerusalem Post and joins me now. Your response to this tragedy and seeing the human face of it there.
Yeah, I think the human face is really what's important. This is a couple supposedly about to get engaged. He actually bought an engagement ring, and he was about to propose to her. They were leaving the Jewish museum. The fact that they worked for the Israeli embassy is their place of work, or possibly their own beliefs. But I think what's important to understand is they were leaving the Jewish museum, and that is a museum celebrating Jewish life, celebrating Jewish culture and heritage. And that's why, unfortunately, they were killed. They were shot. And, I don't think the attacker could have known exactly where these two work. So I think it's really something that we see as an anti-Semitic attack.
What have you made of the responses we've seen so far, particularly from the likes of President Trump?
I mean, I think all the responses have been very, very supportive, showing their grief, as should be. I think really there's an understanding that this is a terrorist attack, and it's not okay.
And do you feel like enough has been done, I guess, across the United States, perhaps in other places, in advance to try and prevent this sort of thing? Or is it, particularly in a country, of course, with so many gun problems and very high murder rates, that some examples like this are very difficult to prevent?
So I think throughout the years there have been many opportunities to make the security and the safety better for Jews across the United States. A lot of it is private donations and money from the Jewish community in order to support these institutions and secure them. I will say, though, that up until this current administration, the past few years have been a nightmare for anyone who is Jewish, definitely on college campuses where, young Jews had to literally hide their identity and risk their own lives for just being Jewish or supportive of Israel during such a complicated time. And only now we're starting to see these universities, change their attitudes and being more tough against people who actually are anti-Semitic and who, by the way, people can be anti-Israel. That's okay, but you can't be violent, and you can't cause fear amongst other people or kill, obviously, people because of what they believe and because of what they think.
Stepping back a little bit, if we're able to, today, do you feel like there's been a change in the relationship between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu over the course of the last week or so?
I think that's really a question that I've been asking myself a lot, and my colleague, seeing contradicting reports. On the one hand, we see reports from sources within the White House or close to President Trump saying he's, losing his patience with Netanyahu. I just returned from the States this morning. We had a conference, and Special Envoy Adam Bowler spoke about the fact that there's no light and day between these two administrations. I think President Trump really wants peace, and he wants a new Middle East. That's something he's doing so much, he's investing so much in. And I think that's where, him and Netanyahu may not totally see eye to eye. That said, the administration officially is supporting Israel, though other countries, including the UK, for instance, have published a very critical, response to Israeli operations within Gaza.
Yes, it's definitely been an issue of the last week here. We're going to have to leave it there, though. Thank you so much for joining us. And Zvika Klein, there, editor-in-chief at the Jerusalem Post. We are going to continue the discussion.